Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelpline.org.au.
Simon told Helen wins a half length. Zach Manelli second.
Welcome to Greyhound Gossip.
Peaky Blinders start cheering for Tommy Shelby wins the WA Sprint Championship final.
Featuring Peter O'Neill and Leah Ernest.
Mozza moves up to Mermaid Manelli. Fab's Gem 3 deep. Here comes Fab's Gem.
Hard Style Rico by 5 lengths to Simon told Helen. Third Tommy Shelby.
This segment is dedicated to the discussion and promotion of greyhound racing.
Cindy's Oliver, Rockstar Patriot, Paul Stewart, back-to-back with Rockstar Patriot in the Galaxy.
Handsome Prince, a boulder clear. The former Tasmanian Handsome Prince has won the $1 million chase.
We're heading for a top of 18 degrees. Similar conditions tomorrow with 6...
And a very good morning, everyone. Welcome along to Greyhound Gossip. Peter O'Neill with you. Unfortunately, Leia's not well this morning, so we wish her a speedy recovery, and hopefully she'll be back with us again next week. But what a big week it is in greyhound racing ahead of us with the Brisbane Cup on Friday, along with the Queensland Cup. We'll be talking with Jamie Marsh and Shayne Williams and John Brasch about the Queensland Carnival in a moment. But on Saturday night, we had the Heats of the West Chase. The quickest qualifier was King Tommy, the son of Tommy Shelby. And hasn't Tommy Shelby started his stud career off in flying form? He's got numerous runners in the feature final, $30,000 listed race. And King Tommy was the quickest qualifier, winning in a time of 29.67. We then saw Flying Frida, the little sister, win in 29.74. Disco Daisy continued her winning run. She's now won her last 4 for Enzo Credelli in 29.95, and West on Blossom giving Chris Holtz a really strong hand in the final. 29.70 from box number 4 was successful in the final heat. And the box draw for the listed West Chase on Saturday night, Disco Daisy, who, as I mentioned, continuing her winning run. She's drawn box 1. She's currently at $6 with Tab Touch. West on Odie in 2, $8. Barbecue and $4.50 was run down again on Saturday night. Carla Cat up at $21, drawing 4. King Tommy, $5 in box 5, the quickest qualifier. West on Booney at $10. Flying Frida is at $4.50, and West on Blossom is currently quoted at $5.50. So a very open market. Looking forward to that on Saturday night. Looking forward to the final of the Brisbane Cup on Friday night. And we saw 2 WA Greyhounds qualify, Crumble Manelli and also Elite Machine. Elite Machine has drawn box number 4, currently a $6 second favourite, and Crumble Manelli at $8. The favourite is Postman Pat, who was brilliant. Has drawn box 8 though, and currently the $1.85 favourite. He's had a remarkable year, Elite Machine, as has this man in Jamie Marsh, who joins us, the trainer of Elite Machine, and I'm sure he'll be heading across later this week. Jamie, good morning to you.
G'day, Pete. How are you, mate?
Yeah, very good. You must have been wrapped with the win of Elite Machine on last Thursday night. Gee, he's gone across to Queensland and he hasn't missed a beat, has he?
No, there was obviously a few question marks on whether sending him with that bad form that he had in the Winter Cup final. And, we made the decision to send him. He pulled up super, and obviously we've never always put his best interest at heart. But, his 2 runs over there have been out of good boxes, and they've both been super runs.
What did you make of his form? You mentioned his form here in Western Australia. I didn't think it was that bad myself, but what did you make of his form since the Sandgroper?
Yeah, I thought he was fine. I mean, he drew a couple of hard boxes. He missed a kick in a Winter Cup final, and I think he was right there in the Winter Cup before he took that fall. So we couldn't fold it. Maybe the best thing after he did fall was to get him to Queensland to a different track and just get him out of Cajun for a while. But it's hard to keep a record that he's kept for so long in the form and in the company that he's been racing against, the likes of Electrified and Crumble Manelli for so long. So I can't fold his form at any stage.
We saw Electrified miss out on the final, but it just goes to show the strength of WA greyhound racing at the moment, doesn't it? That 2 greyhounds, Crumble Manelli and Elite Machine, have both been able to make it through to this rich $1 million final on Friday night.
Yeah, it's sort of come miles ahead in the last few years, and we've started to see, that like when Campini were going over to the Melbourne Cup and WA dogs starting to go over. David Hobby's always to his credit, always gone travelling with his dogs. And, it's just good to see us get some more success. I think we've always probably been a bit underrated when it comes to, the Victorian dogs and things like that. But it was good to see a couple get through to the sprint final, and obviously Rip and Grace get through into the stone final.
Before we talk about the final, how has he settled in? Obviously, his 2 wins makes you think that he settled in really well, but is he enjoying the warmer conditions up there in Queensland?
Yeah, he said, I had a chat to Tony the other day, and he said, look, he feels well. He's very vocal. He's obviously barking and carrying on a fair bit over there. So he did text me and say he doesn't jump fences, doesn't he? Because he's a fan of leaping into kennels and things like that. But no, he's obviously feeling 100%. Tony's obviously a wonderful conditioner, so he'll always have his best interests at heart. And his runs over there have been great, and the feedback from Tony's been that he's settled in super and he's going tremendous.
Now, the final, Postman Pat, we've all seen what he's done over there, and he's the $1.85 favourite at the moment, so the one to beat. What do you make of the box draw? He's drawn on the outside of Crumble Manelli and underneath of Magistrate in box number 4.
Yeah, I think speaking to Tony, he said obviously Postman Pat's obviously the dog to beat. He's absolutely airborne at the moment, and I said earlier that if he begins and lobs on the arm, I think everyone's racing for second. So you just can't fault him at the moment in the form he's in. Tony did say that Magistrate will begin, but does sometimes like to get up the track. And as we know, Crumble can begin and hope to head to the fence. So, look, it's just he's there. He's in amongst it. He's happy as well, and just sort of might ring Dave during the week and just see if he can get Crumble to spear for me, and we can get a card across into the race and see if we can put ourselves in a winning position. But at the end of the day, I think all I can. If he jumps, I think, we're all in a world of pain.
Now, will you be going across later in the week? You mentioned David Hobby. Will you be going to the resort and having a cocktail prior to the Friday final?
We are heading over, yeah. I've spent a lot of the week trying to talk Tony Brennan and handling Nigel and Postman Pat, but I've been a little bit unlucky in that. He's sticking with Postman Pat and handling. So, yeah, I'll head over and handle him, and Dan and etc. And it'll be a fun couple of days. Obviously, can't get away from the dogs too long, so yeah, we'll fly out on Thursday and head home Saturday and just enjoy what it is. But I'll just be catching up with Dave at the track, I think.
Good on you, mate. Well, to you and Dan and to Dave Hobby and the team, we wish you all the best of luck there in the Brisbane Cup. It's rich stake money, and I'm sure he will fly the West Australian flag well. Go get him.
Thanks, Pete. Thanks for your time, mate.
Jamie Marsh joining us, taking a look at the Brisbane Cup, and $6 currently on offer for Elite Machine Amron Boy, $6, and Postman Pat $1.85, Crumble Manelli currently at $8. An exciting final. We'll talk about that with John Brasch shortly. But speaking of Queensland, a man who will be heading up there after he goes across, I think, to Melbourne, so he's doing a tour of Australia. He's a little bit like John Farnham, is our next special guest, and that is Shayne Williams, who joins us, and his wonderful bitch, Rip and Grace, has made it through to the Queensland Cup final on Friday night as well. Shayne, good morning.
Good morning, Pete. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good. Are you still in Perth, or have you started the Australian tour?
Nah, still stuck in freezing cold Perth, unfortunately, and I can't wait to get out. This rain's hit pretty nasty down this way, so yeah, looking forward to getting on the big bird, mate.
All right. You're about to head across to Melbourne, as I mentioned, and then heading up to Queensland later in the week. You must have been wrapped with what Rip and Grace has been able to do since she's arrived there in Queensland.
Yeah, she really hasn't put a foot wrong, Pete, has she? Her first 2 starts over the 600 were really good, and then she didn't get a lot of luck last week, but she managed to scrape through, and my eyes were peeled to that semaphore board as soon as they panned over there just to see what the time was, and she was lucky enough, I think, to be the quickest second. So after finding all sorts of trouble, she got through, so that's the main thing, and unfortunately, again, we haven't drawn well in the final, but once upon a time, Pete, I would throw my toys out of the cot and blow up, but you can't do much about it. So you just got to deal with what you get given, mate.
Well, a lot of people, including bookmakers, were caught with her run the other night, and she's come up as equal second favourite at $5. So the box draw, Play Nice has drawn $6. These are tap touch markets. Box 2, Paloa King at $2.50 and favourite. Locked on Scotch in $3, $13. Ariane Bale $5. Wheel and Go $8 drawn in box 5. Rip and Grace $5 with Tap Touch in box 6. Blue Hornet $17 and Dirt Farmer out in the pink $21. So you're not happy with the box draw, but going on her form there the other night and the way the heats were run the other night, she's right in this race.
Yeah, I think I spoke to Tom over the weekend, and he's a very good judge of form in Brisbane. He knows the dogs backwards, and he said, there's probably 5 leaders in the race, and it looks like it's set up for a run-on dog. So he said the run-on dogs were obviously Grace, Ariane Bale, and Jack Smith's dog. So he said whatever one sort of gets the luck. But you see last week she had box 5. If she had drawn 1, 2, or 3 last week, she would have missed that trouble, and got to the fence a lot earlier. So box draws, even though she's a slow beginner, they still make a big difference, in finals. But that man, Britton, he's hard to beat when you see him in a 700 metre race, isn't he, Pete? He got us again on Thursday night, and it's drawn the 1 again in the final. So he's blessed with the box draws. But she'll be doing the best, Pete, and it's just good to see that she's competitive with these dogs. We've always thought she was going to be a nice stayer, and I think, with a bit of age and maturity, she's, hopefully she can move forward and tackle all the big races after this one.
Well, you mentioned, and she's only young, she won the Oaks not that long ago, and her form over the 520 has been really strong, obviously very strong over the 600 as well, and she was probably a bit young when she went and made the final of the Galaxy early this year, but you've always had an opinion of her that she's going to get the 700, and she's done that in style over the last, with her run last week.
Yeah, 100%. I spoke to Diggers and the boys on Thursday, and even the fact that she was very young when she was racing in the Galaxy and the Miata final, she comes through the runs really well, but I just wanted to back off after them runs, and she probably had sort of 10 days let up, and then we went back to 500 metre racing, and I think that it's helped her along the way. We haven't sort of flattened her and taxed her a lot, but now she's a lot older and a bit more mature, and as you can see, she can run the 700 right out now, so obviously she'll come home for the Nationals, and then we'll just hopefully go on tour, another Johnny Farnham tour, Pete, with her. So just try and tackle all the big races. At the moment, in the staying ranks, it's not actual standout. It's pretty even, spread across the board. So, with a bit of luck and box draws, and she might be able to make a few more finals and hopefully pinch one.
Yeah, well, you've done really well with her, and she's certainly in this race as a leading chance on Friday night. You're heading to Melbourne, so you'll catch up with the great man David Short and then head up to Queensland where there's hopefully some warmer weather for you, and we wish you all the best of luck. You get to see that concert. There's some not only rich prize money on offer, but a really good concert up in Brisbane as well.
Yeah, I'm about to send Jamie Marsh some songs from Boom Crash Opera, Pete, because obviously, it's not his era, but even though he looks like he's nearly 50, he's only probably nearly 40, so he'll be able to get some songs sent his way so he can get some practice for some singing up there when they Boom Crash Opera play, so that'll be good.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting, and we'll be able to hear all of the dulcet tones of the great man John Brasch. He'll be joining us shortly. Just before we go to John, Nangar Chief was a really good run the other night. First win over the 520 metres and really good time as well.
Yeah, no, he's flying, Pete. It took him a little bit of time for us to work him out when he got here, and he's got his little quirks and stuff, so we've sort of nailed them down now, and yeah, it was really good. He copped a really good bump off the 8 early on, and to pick himself back up after that and win in that time was really good, and yeah, he's booked to go to Darwin next Monday, so I'm not sure, just got to work it out whether we give him one more run here or maybe just trial him and he's off to Darwin for a month there. They got heat final, then heat final of the Darwin Cup. There's like a lead-up race there, so he'll be there for a month next Monday.
All right, good luck with Rip and Grace. Say hello to Johnny Brasch for us when you're up there, and also enjoy the concert, Boom Crash Opera.
Definitely will, Pete. Thanks for your support, mate.
Good on you. Shayne Williams joining us. I think he's more excited about seeing Boom Crash Opera than he is in winning the Queensland Cup, but he's in with a real live chance. And the man who'll be calling all the action is our next special guest. He's been great through the Queensland Carnival. It's been an exciting carnival. There's rich prize money on offer, and it comes to a head on Friday night. John Brasch joins us. John, thanks for your time again this morning, and we appreciate your time through the Queensland Carnival. It has been really exciting, and you've got 2 really rich greyhound races coming up on Friday night, and the quality of both fields is outstanding.
Peter, it's been my pleasure to bring you all the action over the carnival and to speak to you on your programs most Mondays. And yes, it's crescendos up to the big night on Friday night. Yes, that's right, Friday night. And who'd ever thought Queensland would be running a $1 million race, the Brisbane Cup, worth $1 million overall, $650,000 to winning connections, and we've got $150,000 on the Queensland Cup as well for the stayers. So augurs well for a great night of greyhound racing at Albion Park on Thursday night. And as I said, Pete, before over the carnival, it's great that we've had greyhounds from practically all over Australia, and they've been able to pick up some prize money along the way, and each of the states have been represented well and truly over the carnival. So, and there was a couple of surprises there in the heats for the Brisbane Cup on Thursday night. JSJ didn't get through, Victor Damien didn't get through, but we've still got Postman Pat and others there on Friday night, and it's sure to be a great final towards the $1 million prize.
Yeah, $1 million on offer. Postman Pat, gee, he was outstanding, wasn't he? He's come up with Tab Touch at $1.85 favourite. He's drawn box number 8. Do you think if he had drawn closer to the inside, he would have been shorter?
Oh, I think he would have been, yes. He missed it a touch from the 8 last week. He had the 8 in the heat last week. He was about 4th away, but Pete, that acceleration he shows just after the start, and he was able to cross the other 7 runners by the time they got to the post the first time, and he still had the height to run a 5:48 early sectional, and that is absolutely flying. And then he put a gap on them down the back. He did get a little tired in the run home, but he did run the 29:39 the week before, and that was the 3rd fastest time ever at Albion Park. And it's pretty hard to cross from the 8 at Albion Park, but he seemed to do it with ease last Thursday night, and I don't think that should pose any problem again in the final. I think he's the one to beat.
And another one that would be shorter would be Amron Boy, who's drawn underneath him in box number 7. He's currently at $6.
Yeah, I think he's got a good chance as well. The 6 dog heads towards the rail. Simply Limelight, other greyhounds, the Queenslander, Magistrate can show speed, Bears Bullet can show speed on the inside. So I think the Queenslanders are going to be up there issuing a challenge in the early stages. But the Pat, I just think, as I said earlier, he's got that blistering speed, and I think he may be able to cross by the time they reach the first turn, and I think put the $1 million to bed early.
All right, well, if he does anything wrong, you might be calling a Sandgroper home, and that is Crumble Manelli or Elite Machine. They were both very good. Crumble Manelli's drawn well, box 3, currently at $8 with Tab Touch, and Elite Machine, he's grown, well, I'm not going to say he's grown another leg because he was very competitive in our Sandgroper, and he also won our Perth Cup, but he's what I was going to say, he's loving the Queensland weather, and he's currently second favourite or equal second favourite at the moment at $6, and both of the WA stars have real live chances.
Yeah, I've been really liking Elite Machine. He really has taken to Albion Park. I know he's been drawing the inside, little awkwardly drawn this week, but yeah, they're right in up to their ears, beat Crumble Manelli and also Elite Machine, and particularly Elite Machine, I think it's got a very, very good place chance.
Now, the Queensland Cup. This is another great race, and WA has a runner here with Rip and Grace. We just spoke with Shayne Williams, who's looking forward to going up there, as I mentioned, to see the band after the last, John. But Rip and Grace currently $5. The Market, Play Nice, who's drawn $6. Palawa King $2.50. 2 Locked On Scotch $13. Ariane Barley in 4 at $5. Wheel and Go $8. Rip and Grace $5 in box 6. Blue Hornet $17 and Dirt Farmer $21. Before we get to the favourite, Palawa King, what did you make of Rip and Grace's run the other night?
Yeah, first go 7:10 at Albion Park. She just got that little tired the last little bit and was run over. But I think she's going to be the improver here. Even though I'm going to tip Palawa King, I've been very impressed with his runs. He's the typical stayer, get back, run on. He's going to need a little bit of luck. But I think the way that he's been racing, I think he's going to be the one to beat. But a very healthy respect for Rip and Grace. I'm actually going to put her in for second. She led everywhere bar the winning post on Thursday night in the heat. So I think she can improve with the one run at the 7:10 at Albion Park. And I was also very impressed with the Queensland win of Locked On Scotch, trained by John Catton. This greyhound, Pete, was having its first run over the 7:10 on Thursday night and ran 41.80, went able to lead all the way. So, and of course being by Hooked On Scotch, and it just kept going. They just couldn't reach it, and no doubt he's going to be up front and probably setting the speed there on the Friday night, Locked On Scotch. So I give him a real big chance as well. So, but I'm going to go Palawa King to beat Rip and Grace and Locked On Scotch in the Queensland Cup final.
All right, Rip and Grace was very, very good there the other night, as you mentioned. Now, Friday night. So we normally see Queensland Greyhound racing on a Thursday night. The features this week on the Friday, and we've seen it in a few different states where the towns or the cities decide to go on a Friday night. We've seen it in Melbourne for a number of years with the Melbourne Cup. How do you expect this to be on Friday for the crowds and all those that get to the course to see this $1 million Brisbane Cup?
I think it's going to work really well, Peter. We tried it a couple of years ago before pre-COVID, and it worked really, really well. That you're able to put something together with the entertainment and so forth, and people not having to go to work on the Saturdays, and they really made it a big night. And of course, we've got the club have been lucky enough to secure Boom Crash Opera, and they're going to play before the big one, the Brisbane Cup, and then I think they're doing an hour set after the last race. So it's been able to a big coup there for the Brisbane Greyhound Racing Club. And Peter, for the first time I've ever seen it, they've actually you're not going to be able to get into the grandstand unless you pay to get into a grandstand seat on Thursday night. The restaurant is not open to the public. They've got some private functions in our Paces and Chasers restaurant. They're going to charge you $30 a head to get into a grandstand seat. People with greyhounds on the night, they're going to be allowed in there as well for dinner as well. But pretty much the public are down on the lawn. They're going to have a lawn party there with the TAB, the bars, a big screen down on the lawn. So all vantage points are going to be taken up at Albion Park on Friday night. So they're expecting a huge crowd. And as I understand, all the bookings are really pretty much sold out. So it's going to be a big night on Friday night. So it looks as though it's going to be a winner for Racing Queensland and the Brisbane Greyhound Racing Club switching to the Friday night.
Well, that's great news. And speaking of winners, you and Luke must be really wrapped with the way the carnival's gone.
Yeah, as I said, Peter, we've had greyhounds pretty much from all over Australia, including New Zealand with the postie, except I think Tasmania was the only state not represented, and the spoils have pretty much gone around Australia. We've had winners from Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria, South Australia, and of course WA have fared very well over our carnival. So it's the prize money increases have certainly brought the best of the best here to Queensland for the 2023 carnival. And I'm sure Luke and the team at the Brisbane Greyhound Racing Club would be absolutely wrapped. As I said, there was a couple of greyhounds that we thought may have got through to the final but aren't there in JSJ and Victor Damien amongst a couple of others. But the field we have assembled there on Thursday night, I'm sure will do the club proud.
I'm sure they will, and I'm looking forward to seeing you, hopefully down in Melbourne in August for the Nationals, because the quality of greyhounds around Australia at the moment is outstanding, isn't it? And to get the best of them into Melbourne and to the Nationals in late August at the Meadows is going to be really good, and I'll get to see my first ever sprint race for the straight race this year at Healesville as well with the Nationals Straight Series, so looking forward to that.
Yeah, we've had the Straight of Origin recently at Capella Bar Greyhounds, and there you were on to the National Straight Track Championship to be run between Queensland, Victoria, New South Wales and South Australia, and the final to be run at Healesville this year. And that series will be starting early August amongst the Nationals. And Pete, despite I think a lot of these races now worth more money than the Nationals, I think the trainers still like to be regarded as the best in Australia when they all come together for the Nationals each and every year in the different states. And hopefully long live the Nationals, that they can continue in some sort of way over the next few years, that perhaps look at them being reinvigorated or something like that. But we need to keep those traditional races going, and long live the Nationals.
Well, it's a big celebration, isn't it? There'll be a cocktail party on the Thursday night, and then you have the Greyhound of the Year at a gala ball on the Friday, and then into the Nationals with the straight course at Healesville in the morning, and then to the Meadows Saturday night. So I'm really looking forward to that. Looking forward to your calls on Friday night as well for the Brisbane Cup and also the Queensland Cup. John, thanks again for your coverage during the carnival, and I'll just give you a tip. While they're great blokes, Jamie Marsh and Shayne Williams, don't get into a drinking competition with them, because you will come off second best. Well, lucky I'm working Saturday night at Ipswich, Pete, so it won't be a too late a night for me on Friday night after I finish the 12 races. Good on you, mate. Enjoy the two Group 1s there on Friday night. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Peter, and good luck to the WA representatives in the finals here on Friday night.
That's John Brasch joining us, and yeah, good luck to Crumble Manelli Elite Machine. They're both in the $1 million final of the Brisbane Cup, and Rip and Grace in the rich Queensland Cup as well. Looking forward to that. That's Friday night. Looking forward to greyhound racing later on today from Northam. Jesse Earnshaw will be handling all that for you.